Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ishim, Barakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ishim, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video. And I'm going to start it off with Joel chapter 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, and we're living in this time right now, the last seconds of these last days, the last seconds of the rulership of the heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah, the southern kingdom, or the so-called Negroes, and Jerusalem, the northern kingdom, or the so-called Latinos and Native Americans, the elect of both tribes, waking up to the fact that they're the true children of Israel and coming back to their power, Yahweh Ba'ishim Yahushai. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations, these heathen nations, these Edomites, or so-called Caucasians, these Moabites, or so-called Chinese, these Ishmaelites, or so-called Arabs, these Elamites, or so-called East Indians, etc., etc., and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, that Middle Eastern region. And Jehoshaphat means Yahweh's Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. There will be a nuclear-armed World War III in that Middle Eastern region, in that valley of Jehoshaphat, which will be known as the Battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or the War of Armageddon. And the reason you nations are being gathered down there is because you touch the apple of the Most High's eye, the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and nothing will happen to avert that from coming to its fulfillment, and it's quickly coming to its fulfillment. You can see all these end times prophecies beginning to come to pass all around you, these earthquakes in diverse places, these uproars of the people in the world, these wars and rumors of wars, and the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, which is the RFID/NFC microchip implant, which is right around the corner. And once that happens, this battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat's really going to kick off, and you're going to see those nuclear missiles fly, and Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, return to save the elect of his people and put the final nail in the coffin of Esau, Edom's rulership. And in this video, I'm just going to give an update on this upcoming battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, because you're having different events take place which are leading into this War of Armageddon. And I'm going to go to an article on yahoo.com titled, Top U.S. General Meets Israeli Brass Amid Iran Tensions. Netanyahu, Iran planning attacks against Israel. And this is just the state of Israel building up a case against Iran so they can create some kind of false flag situation to blame Iran for attacking them, or goad Iran into attacking them so they can drag the United States into a war against Iran on their side, which plays into Jeremiah 49 verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Edom, you so-called Caucasians, which those Israelis are Edomites, they're of the tribe of Amalek, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock, those Israeli Amalekites, shall draw them out, starting a war with Iran, which will drag the U.S. into on the side of Israel, but will also drag in other nations like Russia and China into on the side of Iran. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. These Amalekite impostors that you American Edomites, especially you so-called Christians, put so much stake into as being the true children of Israel, are going to repay you by dragging you into a nuclear-armed, cataclysmic war that you won't be able to win. And you deserve every bit of it, because you see the true children of Israel walking the streets of America every day, but you look at them as thugs and gangsters and the scum of humanity. The top U.S. general is visiting Tel Aviv for meetings with Israeli military leaders amid heightened tensions, mostly fabricated by the CIA and Mossad, with Iran in the Mideast. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, met Sunday with Israeli counterpart Lieutenant General Aviv Kohavi. Israel's military said in a statement that Miley's visit was a sign of the depth of the partnership between the forces and its importance in promoting regional stability. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Miley's visit comes amid rising tensions between Israel and regional rival Iran. Last week, Israel struck dozens of Iranian targets in neighboring Syria in response to rockets at the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights a day before. The strikes were the latest Israeli attack against Iran-linked targets in Syria in recent years. Israel has warned against a permanent Iranian presence near the frontier. And if you remember, it was Syria that asked Iran to come and help them in that civil war, which was started by the U.S. and Israel. And it's always Israel being the aggressor in these attacks against Iranian targets and forces in Syria. And I'm going to go to my next article on ZeroHedge.com to further show how these nations are getting gathered down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat for this War of Armageddon. And the title of this article is Trump Notifies Congress More Troops Headed to Saudi Arabia as Carrier Enters Hormuz. And this plays into Joel chapter 2 verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the Northern Army, the United States military, all branches, the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, the Marines, etc., and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, the Middle East, more specifically Saudi Arabia, which is going to be the main staging ground for this upcoming war with Iran, with his face toward the East Sea. And when we go to a map of the Middle East, you've got Saudi Arabia right here, and towards the east, what do you have? The Tigris and Euphrates River to the northeast, the Persian Gulf, and what's above the Persian Gulf? Iran. And you've also got the Strait of Hormuz right here, which the U.S. is talking about moving a U.S. carrier through. And this summer, you had a lot of tension in the Strait of Hormuz with all those oil tanker seizures. And his hinder part, or behind him, toward the utmost sea, the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. There's going to be a great slaughter in the Middle East during this battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat of not just these U.S. military personnel, but all other heathen military forces in this war. If you're a soldier that finds yourself in the Valley of Jehoshaphat during this battle, you better come to terms with that being your final resting place. So much for drawing down in the Middle East. President Trump notified Congress on Tuesday that more American troops are en route to Saudi Arabia. I shall remove far off from you the Northern Army to a land barren and desolate, which will bring their overall numbers to about 3,000 in the kingdom. These personnel will remain deployed as long as their presence is required to fulfill the missions described above, the president said in a letter. The official White House notification of congressional members described the American military presence there as essential in countering Iran's influence in the region. U.S. troops arrived at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia earlier this summer. Forces were deployed to assure our partners deter further Iranian provocative behavior and bolster regional defensive capabilities, the letter addressed to the House of Representatives stated. Last month, the Pentagon announced the extra troop deployments as well as military hardware, including Patriot missiles, to the kingdom after the prior September drone attacks on Saudi Aramco facilities, which they tried to blame on Iran. Interestingly, that prior announcement took place just as Trump controversially pushed to withdraw U.S. forces from Syria, something which ended in merely moving troops from the Turkish border and into Syria's oil fields east of the Euphrates. And U.S. troops aren't going to leave the Middle East because it's all prophecy for them to be there. Iran has continued to threaten the security of the region, including by attacking oil and natural gas facilities in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia On September 14th, 2019, Trump said in the letter, Nader Yuskawi from Twitter says, today, U.S. Navy's USS Abraham Lincoln CVN-72, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier escorted by air defense and guided missile destroyers, enters the Strait of Hormuz. Abe Lincoln can field up to 90 aircraft. Again, I will remove far off from you the Northern Army into a land barren and desolate. The president said missiles and radar equipment will improve defenses against air and missile threats and includes expeditionary wing to assist Saudi aircraft, which it should be noted were also purchased from the U.S. All remaining forces will be in place in the coming weeks, he told Congress, which will cap out at approximately 3,000 according to the letter. But best believe that before everything's said and done, there's going to be much more than just 3,000 U.S. military personnel brought down there. As it says in Habakkuk chapter 2, though it tarry, wait for it shall surely come. It will not tarry. This third woe is inevitable and quickly coming upon us, and no peace treaties or peace talks will stop it from happening. And now I'm going to close it out back in Joel chapter 3 to further hammer in that point. Jump down to verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war with Iran, World War III, the battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat, war of Armageddon. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. These heathen nations are gearing up for war. Russia and China have that hypersonic glider technology. Turkey just bought the S-400 anti-missile defense system from Russia. The U.S. is bringing down military forces into Saudi Arabia. Israel's preparing for war with Iran. And China just celebrated 70 years of communist rule with a military parade, unveiling their latest military hardware, including new nuclear-capable missiles. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, you Edomites, you Moabites, you Ishmaelites, you Elamites, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh, and those mighty ones are the death angels of the Most High, holding back this destruction until the Most High gives them the go-ahead to release it. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about for touching the apple of his eye, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true children of Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom. And as always, I'm going to say Ababa Bal, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.